to Bad Larry.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Bad Larry Kingdom. I'm your host, Bad Larry, and today we are reviewing X-Men Age of Revelation, issue number 0. It begins here. How sick is this cover? It's sick. Wolverine with that adamantium face. He's jacked. Oh man, I'm so excited to get into this. I remember reading Age of Apocalypse when I was a kid 30 years ago. Can you believe it? It's been 30 freaking years, people. But unlike Age of Apocalypse, which is more like a what if, not in this universe, this is what could happen if Apocalypse got control. No, this is not a fantasy world that we're living in here, people. This is the real world. This is X years in the future, which could be 10 or it could be just X, meaning unknown amount of years in the future. You know, X is always the thing. People are trying to limit it to 10 years, but it could be whatever. The point is, this is the 616 world that Jed MacKay is leading the world into, which is amazing. This is for keeps, people. This is for keeps. This is not a fantasy Age of Apocalypse. This is the real deal. What is going to happen in the future? So it's super impactful, not just to the X-Men, but to everyone! We open this issue with a group of 4 young mutants. One who is previously dead, but now he's back. And these are the security guards for the mutant nation, which is controlled by Revelation. And they are calling themselves the Seraphim. Or I guess Doug Ramsey, Revelation is calling them the Seraphim. Anyway, they took down a jet. Who are these 4 fools? Well, you've got Chrome. He used to be dead. He used to be an acolyte, but now he's alive. He's working for Revelation. He can turn the jet into marbles, or he can turn the metal into powdered dust. He has molecular control, so he's cool. And then you've got Hellion, who was a student of the White Queen and House of M and that kind of timeline. Well, he's got the telekinesis powers. And when I saw this issue first, I said, oh crap, they've got the Phoenix. This dude's going to be unstoppable. Revelation has got control of the Phoenix. It's all over. But it's not Phoenix. This green-eyed redhead is Strobe. And she can control light and heat and make blinding strobe lights and stuff. So that's who this gal is. And Dragoness, well, she's the one with the dragon wings, and it looks like she stole Cyclops' visor and infused it with Marvel Girl's little headdress, but she seems to have some sort of electroshock powers. So Jed MacKay, in keeping true to the biblical theme and correlation of this story, and tying it into the biblical elements, the book of Revelation, which is the last book of the Bible, this is what will happen to everyone, as told to John in a dream. So we don't know when the second coming of Jesus is going to happen, but there's a lot of signs. The point is, this is what will happen. We don't know exactly when. I think that's why he put X years in the future, because it's an unknown amount of years in the future. But it is going to happen to this reality. The seraphim are actual characters in the actual Bible, unlike the seraphim uh, that we see here in Marvel. The seraphim were basically just glazing up God all the time. They had 6 wings, 2 to cover their face, 2 to cover their feet, and then 2 to fly. And they were just glazing up God the whole time, saying, holy, holy, holy. That's their job in the Bible. So they're not fighter angels, they're not guardian angels, they are glazing up God angels. But in the Marvel universe, you could do whatever you want. So Jed MacKay is using seraphim is a term because it sounds cool, but his seraphim are actually guardian angels. And some may say, why is Zorn the one recording this history? Why is he the one telling the story? Well, just like in the Bible, Revelation was revealed to John. In this case, John is represented by Zorn. He's the one that is recording everything. And in the Bible, you have a protagonist, which is Jesus, and the antagonist, which is the Antichrist. So I believe what we're going to see is the protagonist being Cyclops and the antagonist being Revelation or Doug Ramsey. So in this timeline, which is the 616 timeline, X amount of years in the future, the USA is basically no more. Most of the USA, well, a lot of the USA is now mutant only land, and clearly the former US government or whatever is still trying to launch these feeble attacks against the mutant side, which they are unsuccessful totally. It only takes 4 mutants to keep the humans out and keep that border safe and expanding. Actually, Zorn is a very interesting character, not only as the narrator, but because his brain or his brain is a black hole, he is immune to revelation and his mind control. So he's able to walk around freely as an objective observer and just document everything's happening. And he is basically saying that revelation has created what would appear to be a mutant heaven, like a Krakoa, but it is ruled by a devil, which is what I said before. Revelation is the Antichrist. And that is reaffirmed here in this next page. The handshake, it symbolizes unity, but really what we're seeing is the introduction of the protagonist and antagonist of um, this series. It's interesting. You see, Zorn is on the left, Cyclops is on the right. The right is typically the righteous side, the right hand of God. It's always the right is the right side. Anyway, you see them squaring up, eye to eye, handshake, because this is the representation of good and evil in this story, this Age of Revelation. Uh, Revelation on the left is the Antichrist. He's the antagonist. He's the bad guy. And Cyclops on the right, he's the Jesus figure, the Savior, um, the one who will be betrayed, has to leave, and then has to come back. And it all seems like that is what is going to happen. But in the actual story, Revelation needs the X-Men. He needs to gather some support initially to execute his plan. Cyclops, of course, needs some extra help. They're fighting 3K, they're fighting ONE, they're fighting left, right, and center. So having Doug rejoin the team or join the team, it's a added bonus. Cyclops doesn't think that Doug is a threat, so why not bring him on board? And then we see Zorn walking through some more destructive, destroyed, looks like shield helicarrier, the mutants walking around, kind of. It reminds me of like Star Wars Market. All the mutants just walking around, just they seem happy, but the place kind of looks shit. And Zorn is again just observing everything, and he, as an observer from back then, had thought, well, Doug hadn't gone crazy yet, but eventually I think he will. And you could see Doug has joined the group, but he keeps Warlock and Bay the Blood Moon right next to him. And this is a representation that even in every scenario, he has his tight circle around him, and you can see in his face that he realizes he needs to get rid of Cyclops, but he still needs to have the X-Men, but he needs more power. He needs more influence. And how is he going to get that? And this is where that son of a bitch Fabian Cortez comes in. He's a mutant power amplifier. So if Revelation thinks that he needs more power, well, Fabian Cortez is the perfect tool to amplify his own power. And unlike Magneto from the past, who couldn't control Fabian Cortez, Ramsey, aka Revelation, can. He can tell him to be loyal to him, and Fabian Cortez will oblige because that's Doug's power. But he brings this up to Cyclops. Cyclops is like, hell to the nah. We ain't bringing no Fabian Cortez. That dude's a son of a bitch. I hate his guts. And this is where Revelation crosses the line. This is where he goes from the light side to the dark side. Once he starts getting a taste of that power and he tells Cyclops to agree with me, well, Cyclops has to oblige because that's his power. Revelation says, and everybody has to do. So Cyclops says that they're gonna go break Fabian Cortez out of the shield that night, which is obviously a disaster. And of course, Fabian Cortez is totally full of himself. This dude has got so much ego. Well, he had to make himself a little statue of himself out there, a little Fabian Cortez statue. And I'm not a big fan of tell, not show. And in this page, Zorn says that in the effort to break Fabian Cortez out of S.H.I.E.L.D. prison, Magic died. But because she's a dark child, well, she didn't really stay dead. Um, but Maria Hill died for sure. So, because Cyclops didn't plan this out himself, it was Ramsey who's forcing Cyclops' hand. Well, there were casualties. Cyclops didn't use his full strategic capabilities. It was a rush plan, so people died. But does Ramsey care? Does Revelation care? No! He doesn't care one bit. So that's what we saw earlier when the bald dude from issue number 19 got killed. Individual people kind of don't matter. It's all about the master plan. And what do we see here? Now Revelation is the head of the X-Men. Where's Cyclops? Well, Cyclops, because he's the Jesus character, he had to go away. He had to go away in disgrace, but it was more because, he realized that he can't be around Ramsey. He has to go away in order to create a plan in order for him to come back and take this dude out. But in the meantime, Ramsey Revelation is in control of the X-Men. What you may not see is Juggernaut. Well, Juggernaut's not a mutant. So I think for that reason he's out, but also he's kind of immune maybe to that mind control because he wears that helmet. Who knows? But maybe he saw the writing on the wall when Magic dying. Magic was his BFF on the team. So Juggernaut's out. Plus, you don't really want Revelation having Juggernaut. You want him to come back. But pretty much everybody else is on board with Ramsey Revelation being the leader. And the USA not too happy about it. And there's always a ground zero with these X-Men, meaning there's always some sort of virus, mutagen, terrigen. Anyway, we already saw this with 3K where they were turning humans into mutants, and this there's a starting point. It's in Philadelphia. There's a massive virus that's infecting everybody, mutant, human. It's super duper deadly. If you don't die, then you become a mutant. If you're a human, you become a mutant. So either way, you're either dying or you're turning into a mutant. Those are your only options based on this virus. I do like the way that Jed MacKay and the artist have depicted the virus infecting Philadelphia and Ground Zero, making it look like it's a mutant zombie apocalypse. You know, you don't want to be infected by this virus one way or the other. But the new Revelation led X-Men seem to be the saviors of the day for the virus at this point. And what I do like is how you see Ramsey with that t shirt. It's got the yellow X on a black t shirt. But if you look at Cyclops' uniform, the it's inverted because Revelation is the inversion of Cyclops. He's the antagonist. Cyclops is the protagonist. So Cyclops has the brown hair. Revelation has the yellow hair. Cyclops is wearing a yellow armor with the little black X. Well, Ramsey is wearing a black t-shirt, no armor, and a yellow X. It's just opposite. It's a little bit of um, yin and yang that they're utilizing. I find it interesting that some people get new costumes, but you see Fabian Cortez here, he is going back to his alkali costume. I think it's to represent that he ain't changed. He's still the same selfish son of a bitch, and that's what he likes to wear. The same old alkali uniform where everybody else seems to have evolved or changed. No, Fabian Cortez, they act like he changed. He ain't changed. He's still a selfish son of a bitch. But now that he's amplified Revelation's powers, Revelation not only can control sentient life forms like people, mutants, anybody with a brain, and get them to do what he wants them to do. But now he can control all life forms, which means that he can make plants grow. He can force them to grow at a higher rate and produce fruit. So this dude's so full of himself. Everybody's so happy with him because he's creating this new Krakoa kind of for the mutant population. There's more and more mutants. And this dude is just thinking that he is the new Messiah when actuality he's the Antichrist. And now that he has so much support from mutant kind, and now that there's so many more mutants, he's basically coming out saying, hey, F the USA, F the USA government. This is Mutant Town now, baby, and I'm the king. So y'all better just fuck off. Take your little human asses elsewhere because this is my town now. And of course, the government, well, they're gonna fight back. That's what they do. They send the soldiers to go kill Revelation. Does that work? No. He just tells them to put their guns down, which they all do because he's amped up by Fabian Cortez. He's unkillable. He's unremovable. What can you do? This dude is unstoppable, apparently. Revelation is literally changing the world. And just like in the Bible, the mark of the beast, which was 666 in Revelation, well, the mark of the beast is kind of like uh, if you're a mutant, then you're cool. If not, then you drool. So being a mutant is kind of a mark of the beast because you have to get on board with Revelation's plan or else you're cooked. And the government keeps sending people to go kill him, but he tells everybody to be loyal to them. So people like Psylocke, who's a super badass ninja, she just takes out all the assassins. Then they try to drop bombs on him, and they try to drop the big one. They try to drop the Sheboygan bomb on him. the old nuclear bomb. And how do you think that goes? Well, I think it goes exactly how you think it's gonna go. Doug Ramsey is able to take all of these D-list reject mutants like Vanisher here and tell them what to do, and using Fabian Cortez to amp him up, well, he's able to teleport the bomb away from where they are to where do you think he's gonna drop it? Return to sender. He's gonna give him the Elvis. Return to sender. Revelation said, "Oh, U.S. government, I didn't want this nuclear bomb. You can have it back." And the resulting image is now the United States crater of DC. Revelation obliterated the government. I mean, is he wrong for that? I don't know. I'm just kidding. I don't advocate violence against political people, okay? FYI. The yin and yang imagery is on full display. You go from the crater of dust to now looks like Garden of Eden. Zorn is walking through. It looks like a magical place. Everything's lush. Um, Revelation is forcing everything to grow just beautiful. He comes up to a mountain. It looks like it used to be Mount Rushmore, but now it's Mount Revelation with only one face on there. Just Ramsey. He ain't sharing the trophy with nobody. That's what I was saying. He doesn't have a family. He doesn't have a team. He's not sharing the glory. Oh, he'll let you have a little statue. If you're Fabian Cortez, you could have a little small statue. But you're not getting your face up on the mountain. That's strictly for me. There's only one king, and the king is Revelation. And as time moves on, and Revelation is rebuilding the world in his image in the way that he wants it. He's just getting more and more powerful. He's creating a new norm. But what happened to you, man? Revelation went full apocalyptic retard. He went full apocalypse. Look, nobody else is looking at him saying, "Oh man, you kind of looking a bit evil villain, Revelation. You got the freaky shoulder pads and the gold. You look like an Egyptian pharaoh, which is what Apocalypse was trying to look like. You got uh, everybody in the gold. Fabian Cortez still in the same uniform, just switching out the pink and purple to the gold. He's still latched at Revelation's hip because Revelation needs that power. But man, you looking freaky, sir. And if you think you can escape Revelation by running out to the wilderness and living like you're some sort of homesteader, nah, nah. The seraphim got the children spying on their parents, but he's also made the parents like these wilderness people. They're like dum-dum. They're like brainless people. They're almost regressed people where they they're not able to really, they're not wearing clothes. They're like cavemen people, I think. And if they get out of line, the children are gonna snitch on them. So nowhere it seems like it's safe for anybody. You can't escape Revelation or his eyes. Many spies have many eyes. And this image is giving me real Robin Hood vibes. Robin Hood of Locksley against the evil sheriff of Rottingham. And it looks like Zorn has done his little walkabout. He's got the book in his hand. It's kind of like the Bible, because just like John received the story and had to write it down, Well, Zorn represents John. He has to document everything, but also it could be a bit of a recon mission going around and collecting as much data as possible because he's one of the only ones that are unaffected by Revelation's powers, and he's coming back to the crew, and these are the good guys. It looks like you've got Glob, which is cool because he was part of the X-Men and now he's stayed loyal to Cyclops, but he's just a jello man. What can he do? Well, he's got some gear and some upgrades. He's doing his best. Looks like you've got a version of Magneto, but it looks like Magneto was part of Revelation's crew, so this could be Joseph just wearing the Magneto garb, but not actually Magneto, but same powers. And then out in the back, I see you got recruited your boy Schwarzschild. The last time we saw Schwarzschild, Cyclops had beat that ass. But, maybe he's a good guy to have on your side. He looks like you got Beast, who's evolved even a little more. He's like a little gray beast. And then his girlfriend, Animal Girl, and Amalium. Then someone else with some wings. But the main guy, the leader, the Jesus figure, Cyclops. Boy, he's looking rough. My favorite character of all time. Looks like his right ear, part of his face is blown off. That could be from just about anybody. But isn't Zorn a healer? Why doesn't Zorn just heal up Cyclops? Maybe Cyclops doesn't want to be healed. Maybe he wants to look like this to remind him uh, of what's what. But he says that he needs to go back and warn his younger self. So going back in time is like, I don't know, the time travel stuff. It's so X-Men, but it is what it is. You got to go back to fix the future. It's part of the X-Men lore. I would have preferred that they just go with it and say, we need to take this dude out, and maybe they can bring a character in like Leech and use Leech to depower Fabian Cortez, get him alone, take Fabian Cortez out, which then weaken Revelation, and then sneak in Leech to Revelation's uh, area, and nobody's got powers. Now it's just fighting. And that's where you could have Wolverine. Wolverine's just going to be able to fight whether he's got powers or not. You know, his claws are still claws, whether he's a mutant or not. It's going to hurt him when he pops them, but you know what? If you got to take Revelation's head off, then you got to take it Revelation's head off. But that's how I would have liked to see this come to pass. Use someone like Leech, uh, who may have been a forgotten character, to offset a Fabian Cortez, and now it's just good versus evil. But they're going, looks like, with the time travel element. All the books are going to be changed going into the future, which I think it's fine. When you go from an Act 1 to an Act 2, things should change. People may be all butthurt about that, but good stories don't go on forever and ever. 18 months or 19 issues, it's still a lot of issues. And the series aren't ending, they're just changing. So I like that part of it. These characters are going to be forever. I like to see stories start, rise, and fall, and then you start a new story. So for me, I'm all in. I'm excited to see where this goes. Hit the like button, subscribe. I'll see you real soon.